Welcome to the second of 6 videos from the Roman Army lecture on campaign and logistics. In the second video, I'm going to say a few things about the process of procuring supplies, especially during the imperial era. Okay, so this is the era of really, not that, Paulion and Aemilianus. Okay, dudes, pasty dudes. Okay, so just like me, but I'm very red. Right, procuring supplies. Okay, so we have what kinds of things would they need? It might seem obvious. Of course, food is an obvious thing, and I have a lot of my discussion in the supply stuff. We'll be talking about food. My own interest, I like eating. Just in general, hides, and I mean clothing and stuff, for things to wear, and of course equipment. And we talked a little bit about this. The things being made maybe by private individuals, and then with some personnel possibly in and around the camps that could do some work on repairs, and then also the central supply factories, the fabricae, in late antiquity. Okay, now as far as acquiring goods, of course, a lot of money would be exchanged. Soldiers were paid regularly, and for much of Roman history, they'd essentially be paying for their own equipment and armor and stuff, and this money would be, and then this is again imperial era sort of stuff in late antiquity with some fluctuation. Some of their pay would be deducted to pay for equipment and stuff, so in their best interest to keep it going as long as possible. Some goods, as far as like acquiring goods for the whole unit, and I have some passages highlighted below, and go check out those ones in the Campbell source book if you have access to it. Sometimes the Romans paid for goods. We have lots of receipts and so on, papyri, tablets, etc. that illustrate this. Sometimes they just requisition things. So they might come to an individual and say, yeah, we're taking your animals now, your donkeys or something. Maybe they'll give you some money and maybe they won't. There were a whole range of different personnel involved at this. Okay, so there were regular soldiers who would be involved in the exchange of goods. Of course, their officers were involved with this too, and there were certain officials responsible for acquiring certain things, and there were also specialists at certain levels, again, responsible for certain things. Private businessmen, a lot of private individuals, traders, merchants, etc. would have been involved in getting supplies of a variety of forms for soldiers. A lot of them were based in and around camps. So I think we haven't really talked about this very much, but when a fort was established, possibly using more permeable supplies at first, later made into more permanent supplies, and permeable is not the right word. Anyway, to more permanent supplies, and civilian settlements would often follow and grow in and around the military environment, largely because of the opportunities around for business and so on. So we get a lot of merchants, again, these businessmen showing up, and you can see some of them in the Vindolanda tablets. Now, I said there were also, facilities within military bases that were responsible for some of these things. Possibility for some workshops where probably existed. Again, our evidence for it is sort of hit and miss, but likely some workshops at some bigger locations, maybe possibly some more remote locations where they could, work on repairing equipment and so on. Remember later, so in late antiquity, the era of our friend Aemilianus, there were these factories, these fabricae, where a lot of stuff could be made centrally and then distributed. And then there was the issue of farming and animals and stuff. So as far as like food production and so on, a lot of this could take place locally, and that's what the next set of videos will look at. So that ends the second video, talking a little bit about the personnel.